This area, West Hampstead, is obviously undergoing a lot of gentrification at the moment. We've got new Waitrose, new Foxtons estate agents, are just some of the new arrivals here. What are your thoughts on gentrification and sort of keeping housing available for people who aren't necessarily on high incomes?
But you raise a very important point. We've been called Generation Rent, the people who can't afford to leave their parents' homes because they're in a situation where they can't afford the rents. And a lot of people who've lived there all their lives, settled communities, are being forced out of West Hampstead and even out of London because it's so expensive at the moment. So I think one of the things we need to do is we need to bring in some protection in the rules for the private rental sector. Not everyone can afford to buy a house, but what we can do is try and find good landlords. And one of the Labour Party's policies is a national register of landlords who are accredited from the council. We want to make sure that we scrap the letting agency fees so that you don't have to pay letting agency fees and also pay landlord fees at the same time. The other thing we want to do is we want to bring in secure tenancies, so you're not just told to leave after 3 months, which is what happens to a lot of people. So a 3-year fixed tenancy and a cap on the rent increasing in those 3 years. These are some of the things we need to do so we make sure people who are actually from West Hampstead get to stay in West Hampstead. And finally, on the shops and the estate agents, my dismay is the fact that so many of our good local shops, local butchers, the individual shops like Social, which I used to love to go to, are now all closing and being replaced by chains. For me, I love going to individual shops. I like going and shopping at independent shops if I can. And I really think we need to give councils the power to restrict yet another estate agent moving in, because that's the last thing we need in Western Lane.
And on the question of your biography, you've been a political activist for a long time, since your teens, it says on your campaign website. What, looking back at the last Labour government, they were in government for 13 years, 1997 to 2010. What would you say the last Labour government's proudest legacy is, and which aspect of it would you like to carry on most if Labour does win majority in May?
The biggest achievement for us was the NHS. The NHS was born under the Labour government. We invested into it, and yes, it's not perfect, but it saved a lot of people who suffered severe health, mental and physical health problems. And I joined the Labour Party because of the care that my father received from the NHS. And that is the one thing I will be championing in Parliament if I do get elected, is about the NHS, how we improve it, how we make sure everyone has access to free medical care. The second thing that I'm very proud of is the minimum wage. Yes, it needs to be increased. Yes, we need a London living wage. But do I think the minimum wage was the right thing to bring in? Absolutely. When it was first introduced, people were up in arms about it. Oh, it's too much market intervention. It's not what we should be doing. It's a nanny state. All of these terms. And look what happened. It actually made work pay. And what we now need to do is take a brave step and include the London living wage, like Ed Miliband has been saying. And you have my assurance, if I get elected, I will be championing the London living wage.
Tulip Siddiq, thank you very much for speaking with me.